you doing today?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing wonderful. It's great to see you.
Good to see you too.
How have things been since the last time we met?
Um, I think definitely talking to you has made things a little bit easier to kind of confront. I know that the people that are surrounding me are definitely worried about some of my behaviors that are kind of happening. And I think just kind of meeting with you brought it to light a little bit about that it is something that is actually going on with me.
Oh, great. Oh, I want to go back and say that you know, everything we say here is confidential. No,
Yeah.
I'm not going to share anything that you share with me, unless, of course, it's mention of harming yourself or someone else. Those are things that I would have to share with others. Just like I said before, we want the best outcome
Yeah.
for you, and I'm happy that the conversation that we had was able to help you a little bit. Okay,
Yes.
so you say that there has been some positive uh, impact of the conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely find myself, realizing more that this is maybe a problem that I've been having, and I didn't want to come to terms that maybe something was going on with me or maybe something was wrong, because I think that's kind of scary for me, especially when I'm supposed to be the one helping others in such a critical moment, like in the ER. So, I really feel that our conversation kind of put that thought in my head that it's okay if something is going on, and more of just ways of trying to work through that.
Well, I want to revisit the conversation. You said that your coworkers and your husband had noticed that you were going through something.
Hmm.
And your behaviors were uh, kind of out of context for you, and you shared that you had been grieving the loss of your childhood friend who had died 12 years ago.
Hmm.
Right? You've been grieving that loss for over 12 years, and
Hmm.
we discussed that. You discussed your feelings a little bit about that situation. And you talked about how you felt about yourself. That you felt like I forgot the word that you used, but it was like kind of hopeless,
Hmm.
right? Like you were kind of
Yeah.
hopeless. Um, have you shared how you feel or discussed your feelings with anyone else since that time?
Um, I mean, I talked to my husband about it just a little bit, but I didn't really go in like full date conversation with him about it or detail. I didn't want him to worry
Right.
being worried. Um, he definitely worries about me just being in that setting in the ER because it gives me more exposure to things that are happening around me. So I don't ever want him to feel like I'm unable to process it on my own, or be overly worried about me because we both have, things going on at work and with our children. I just don't want it to over like stress him.
So you don't want to stress your husband out about the situation. Have you had any recurring thoughts about your friend since our last conversation?
I think I definitely have like thoughts about her. I've been definitely trying to refrain from like when I am at work, if a situation is close or maybe even not so close to something that she has gone through. If I start to find myself bringing it up a little bit, um, I notice it, and I kind of like I apologize for it though. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't mean to bring up, something that was personal of mine. And I know as well too that sometimes oversharing in a work setting it might have an effect on other people as well too, especially those that we're serving. So I'm trying my hardest not to let that happen. I find myself still doing it, and the thoughts of her coming up a lot. But I think I'm noticing a little bit more, but I'm starting to apologize for it a lot too.
How do you handle it? Not uh, with the other people, but how do you handle it internally? The thinking, the thoughts about your friend that you've been grieving for quite some time.
I don't think I really am handling it. Like, I feel like in a way I was trying to use her story and sharing her story to handle it, and kind of utilize that. But I don't think that I've actually like sat down myself and tried to find ways in handling the situation or like what happened. I know a lot of the details, I know a lot of the information, but I don't think I really have that time myself to sit down and think fully about it.
I mean, do you think that you've had trouble accepting the loss?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, even though it was 12 years ago, like the person that I go to or did go to day in and day out, like they're no longer there anymore. And I think that's just hard to accept. So I don't really know if I fully accept what had happened. And I don't know if it's more of just because the situation that occurred, I just, I don't know. I think I have a lot of like unanswered questions.
So for the past 12 years, you would you say you really haven't dealt with the loss? You really haven't come to terms with it?
Yeah, I would say so.
And is that because you don't know how to handle it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess for me, I just don't know like what is a healthy way in handling that. Like loss is so difficult, and I know we go through it. It's inevitable, right? Loss is inevitable, but I don't think that I've ever really like come to terms with it or tried to like I don't know. I don't think I have the answers on how to handle it or what's a good way to handle that.
When you think about it, does it immediately make you emotional and become a negative situation?
I think it definitely makes me emotional, and I find that that's in a negative and a positive situation.
Okay.
So like if if there's a situation that I find where it could benefit someone else just to like talk through it, like if somebody else grieved the loss of somebody that had passed away in that kind of setting, like I think that's finding a positive portion of it, and it makes me emotional, but it makes me emotional to the point where like I know it's helping someone. But then there's situations where like I know that it's not helping somebody and it's just making it worse for me. So I guess that's where it could be a negative situation there.
So do you think that you need to be able to regulate your emotions about that loss regularly? Like, and would you like to find a way of doing that?
Yeah, I think definitely like finding a way to regulate my emotions and maybe even what emotions I'm feeling at that point in time, because I think for her it's all emotions and I don't know how to react to all of those emotions, especially like if I'm angry about what happened, like I don't know how to regulate that or go through that. So I think definitely trying to figure out like a way to deal through that in my day-to-day basis would be great.
Uh, I was thinking that maybe we can if you're with it, we could do some CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy.
Yeah.
I think that it'll. I think the cognitive behavioral therapy will help you with your emotional regulation, the way you think about things, the way you see things, and you get a look at how you're looking at it and how you deal with those things. If that's something that you're interested in, I think that we could set up another meeting and we could start working with you on with cognitive behavioral therapy.
I would like that. Yeah, for sure. I think it would be beneficial.
Yeah. Hey, do you think that when you think about your friend passing away, that fear comes over you? Fear for anything?
I think it's fear that like once I come to terms with it, am I gonna lose the thought of her? Am I gonna lose the memories of her? Am I gonna, is she not gonna be there anymore? And I think that's a huge fear of mine is like she was in my life for so long and the way that she was taken away from my life wasn't fair. So I think it's a
Yeah.
fear more of like, how am I going to cope through that if I come to terms with what's happening?
Yeah. So that I believe that cognitive behavioral therapy it can help you with that. It can also help you with learning how to calm your mind when you start thinking and becoming emotional over it. I believe it can help you with calming your mind. I think that when we get started, I believe that it will be a benefit to you.
Yeah, I would definitely like to try it.
All right. So we'll set a date and get together the next time. And thanks for allowing me to be a part of your process.
Thank you so much for all of your help.
Yes. Bye now.
Bye.
See you soon.
You too.
Bye bye.